What's good, Mr. J back here for another one. Today we're gonna go over my vocal chain I use for my single devices. Let's jump right into it. First thing I went ahead and did is I EQ'd out my vocals because, as you can tell, my voice is a little bit deeper than a lot of other people, so it can get muddy real quick. I brought up this Pro Q4 just to carve out some of that low end and go ahead and boost some of those mids, because that's where I feel like my vocal was lacking. So let's take a listen to this vocal before and after to see exactly what it did for my vocal.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
All right. So with that EQ,
seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
Nice. And we can always go back and just tweak that a little bit more if needed. But that's a nice little starting point. Next, I went ahead and pulled out my trusty old 1176. So for me, I feel like a good ratio is always 4:1. You can play around, see what ratio works best for you. Typically with vocals, I like to stick with a 4:1 ratio. I use a fast attack and a longer release here. And this is just gonna bring that vocal a little bit forward when it comes to that beat. So let's listen to this with the beat, without the compressor first.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
All right, so it's a super tuck back there. So went ahead, add that compressor here.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim.
And here I like to hit around like -3 dB in reduction here. But I do use another EQ or another compressor right after that. My trusty old 11 or LA2A. Here, I like to hit around -2 to just tighten up that vocal and let it sit real good in a mix. So let's take a listen.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
Nice. Next, I like to use my Pultec EQ just to carve a few different things, bring in a little bit of airiness, because with rap vocals, I feel like that airiness is something that's really looked for in commercial music right now. So I'll just go over to my high frequency, bring that to around 10, and then I'll just boost it accordingly until I feel that it's sitting right. It's not too airy and not just dull. So let's take a listen to that.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
Nice. Then I'll take that and I'll bust all of that to its own aux track. I'll then bring in my R comp, and this isn't necessarily needed. I just do this just because I really feel like it, because sometimes with this, it makes it easier when automating different things. So then I bring in my R comp. This is one of my favorite plugins, but you gotta be careful with it because it'll bring a lot more gain to your track. So this gain knob will be very critical. So let's take a listen to with the R box on there.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
Nice. All right, and then I use a C4. This is a multi-band compressor. I just bring a little bit more air here sometimes if needed.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage.
Perfect. And then I use a doubler. I like to use a doubler to just widen up those vocals. But with this, I do like to keep my gain around -21, just so it's not too in your face. So that will then bring the vocals sounding a little bit like this.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
All right, so then I like to bust out my reverbs and delays. And when it comes down to your delay and reverb, make sure that the wet dry is set to 100 because you're gonna be actually control this from the aux itself, and that will be your wet dry now. So let's see what its vocal sounding like now with a complete chain put together.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage.
Nice, nice. So let's compare that to a vocal that is not processed.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage. Smiling on Kim, but I'm burning with rage. Homie got hit trying to chase him a name. Now the whole block never looking the same. We was just kids trying stuff for the gram. Now it's RP in the bio, goddamn.
I know I heard the difference, did you? It's Mr. J, man. Catch y'all in the next one.
Seen too much for a young in my age. Running through nights, I was stuck in the phase. Bottles on bottles, I flex with a cage.